Welcome back to another Hard Knocks League podcast. You're here because you need the lowdown on Week 7.
And you're ready to crush those Week 8 matchups.
All right, we've got the game logs right here. Let me tell you, they're packed with more action than a superhero movie marathon.
Fine, we've got that Week 8 schedule,
Wow.
hotter than a habanero eating contest.
That's right.
What really jumps out at me is how defenses are bringing the pain. We're seeing a resurgence of the blitz across the league, and it's shaking things up.
Yeah. It's like defenses decided to dust off an old playbook and remind everyone that pressure can be a quarterback's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Not just sending an extra guy or two. We're talking full-on,
Organized chaos.
yes, coming at these quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly. And the interesting thing is, it seems to be working. You look at a game like the New Orleans Boars versus the Dallas Sheriffs. Boars are down by 6 in the second quarter, and Janoris Keller drops back to pass. Suddenly, linebacker Desmond Golden comes crashing through the line like a runaway freight train. Keller manages to get the ball off to Jason Hill for a 31-yard gain. But man, that was a heart-stopping moment.
It's almost like defenses are realizing that with all the high-powered offenses out there, you've got to take some risks to disrupt the rhythm. And what better way to do that than to send the house after the quarterback? But you know what's making this blitz trend even more effective?
Struggling offensive line?
Bingo. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of sand. If the offensive line can't protect the quarterback, that blitz becomes a recipe for disaster. Take the Washington Bandits and Tampa Bay Pirates game, for instance. Bandits are driving in the first quarter. Sean Wilson drops back to pass, and guard Josh Crabtree gets absolutely pancaked by defensive end Anquan Ashley. Boom, sack. 7-yard loss, and the drive stalls.
And that's just one example. We're seeing this pattern repeat across multiple games. When the offensive line crumbles, the whole offense starts to sputter. The quarterback has no time to make decisions. Receivers can't get open. And the running game becomes the only viable option.
Speaking of running games, we got to give some love to the backs who are carrying the load, even with the blitz coming at them. Some of these guys are making magic happen. Remember that Houston Coyotes and Miami Sharks game? Roger Smith takes the handoff. And even with the blitz bearing down on him, center Cyril Bryant just obliterates a defender, opening a massive hole for Smith to rumble through for a 36-yard gain.
It's like watching a bulldozer clear a path through a construction site. It's not just about individual brilliance either. It seems like some teams are scheming their running plays to take advantage of the chaos the blitz creates.
All right. They're using the defense's aggression against them. It's like a judo move. Now, all this is happening on offense. There are some defensive players out there who are making their presence known.
Absolutely. Guys like Anquan Ashley, Jabari Brown, and Matthew Jones are putting on clinics. These aren't just blitz specialists either. They're making plays all over the field. Sacks, tackles for loss, you name it. They're the defensive MVPs of Week 7.
And you know what's interesting? It's not just about their physical abilities. These guys are smart. They're reading the offense, anticipating plays, and making the right decisions at the right moment. They're the chess masters of the gridiron.
Right, and it's their football IQ that's setting them apart. They're not just reacting, they're thinking 2 steps ahead. And that's what makes them so dangerous.
So with all this in mind, let's turn our attention to the Week 8 matchups. There are some serious showdowns on the horizon, but there's one in particular that has me absolutely buzzing. We're talking about the Minnesota Polar Bears going head-to-head with the Chicago Berserkers.
Now, remember what we just talked about. The Polar Bears have had some issues with their offensive line. And those Berserkers, they love to bring the heat. I mean, they're blitzing like it's going out of style.
Exactly. This matchup has the potential to be an absolute slugfest. A vulnerable offensive line going up against a relentless pass rush. You can bet there will be some fireworks.
And here's where it gets really interesting. If the Polar Bears can't figure out how to neutralize that blitz, it could be a long day for their quarterback. But on the flip side, if they can somehow find a way to hold them off, their running backs might have a field day.
This matchup is a total toss-up. It's like a game of high-stakes poker.
Yeah.
Both teams have their strengths and weaknesses, and it's going to come down to who can play their cards right and exploit the other's vulnerabilities. It's going to be a battle of wits and grit, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds.
It's the kind of game that could have major implications on the playoff picture. Buckle up, because this one's going to be a wild ride.
Rumbling, stumbling, bumbling, all the way to the playoffs.
That's right.
Who's going to make it?
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
And it's not just the Polar Bears and Berserkers matchup that has the potential for fireworks. Week 8 is packed with intriguing games that could shake up the playoff race.
Oh, absolutely. We've got the Carolina Raptors taking on the Tampa Bay Pirates. And this one could be a defensive showdown for the ages. Both these teams have been shutting down offenses left and right.
It's going to be a battle of attrition, a real grind-it-out kind of game. Whoever can control the line of scrimmage and force those key turnovers will have the upper hand. This one might come down to the wire. A real nail-biter.
Then you've got the Washington Bandits squaring off against the New York Paladins. This is a classic clash of styles. The high-flying Bandits with their air-it-out offense versus the ground-and-pound Paladins who love to control the clock.
The Bandits will need to keep their quarterback upright and find ways to make big plays downfield. Those Paladins are going to try to stuff the run and force those Bandits into long third-down situations. It'll be fascinating to see which style prevails.
And let's not forget about the Philadelphia Tyrants going up against the Dallas Sheriffs. This one has all the makings of a shootout, folks. Both teams boast high-powered offenses and defenses that have shown some vulnerability to giving up those big plays.
Get ready for some offensive fireworks. This is a game that could very well come down to the final possession. Whoever can make the clutch plays in crunch time and avoid those costly turnovers will walk away with the W.
And then we've got the Monday night showdown between the Houston Coyotes and the Tennessee Vipers. The Coyotes have hit a bit of a rough patch lately, while the Vipers have been quietly putting together a solid season. This is a must-win game for those Coyotes if they want to keep their playoff dreams alive.
They need to come out with a sense of urgency. Play like their backs are against the wall. The Vipers, though, they have a chance to make a real statement here and solidify their spot in the playoff picture.
So there you have it. Week 8 is shaping up to be an absolute thriller with so many intriguing matchups and storylines to follow. You won't want to miss a single snap.
Every game matters, and every team is fighting for their chance at that championship trophy.
And remember, these are just a few of the matchups that have us excited for Week 8. Do your own digging, check out the full schedule, and delve into the stats and storylines. You might just uncover a hidden gem that could give you that edge in your fantasy league.
Knowledge is power, especially in the world of fantasy football. Stay informed and stay ahead of the competition.
All right, so what does all this mean for you, the listener? Well, if you're looking for high-scoring, edge-of-your-seat action, that Minnesota Polar Bears versus Chicago Berserkers game is a must-watch.
If you prefer those defensive battles where every yard is fought for tooth and nail, the Carolina Raptors and Tampa Bay Pirates game is right up your alley.
And for those who love offensive fireworks, that Philadelphia Tyrants and Dallas Sheriffs matchup is sure to deliver. Week 8 is like a football buffet with something for everyone.
Grab your snacks, settle in, and get ready for a weekend of gridiron glory.
Well, that wraps up our Hard Knocks League Week 7 recap and Week 8 preview. Thanks for listening, and remember to knock that subscribe button hard. We'll be back next week with another Hard Knocks Dies, so be sure to tune in for more insights, analysis, and of course, our signature brand of football fun.